Now, the last thing you want to experience is to fly all the way from your country, arrive in the UK with high hopes of starting your job in a new environment and all that, and then you realize, hold on, I've made a mistake. If you don't want this to happen to you, keep watching this video. Hello everyone, welcome to my channel, welcome to another video. My name is Diana. I'm a registered nurse who migrated from overseas, currently practicing in the UK. So on this channel, we talk everything nursing in the UK, any updates in nursing practice in the UK, general life in the UK. So in this video, I'm going to share with you tips on what to consider before accepting a job offer to work here in the UK. So a lot of people have migrated to the UK, and after a few months they realize they made a mistake, and that is just because they didn't take a critical look at the job offer before accepting it. I know how it feels, you know, the excitement in getting a job offer to come to the UK, but this is where people make the mistake. I know the process has been a bit challenging just because now candidates have to apply directly to the hospitals. So when you get a job offer, obviously you'll be so excited and you'll be so much in a hurry to sign and get everything started and all that. But this is where I come in to advise you on exactly what to look out for before accepting the job offer, so that you don't just go ahead, sign in excitement without taking a critical look at certain things. So if this is something you're interested in, or if you think someone might benefit from this, stay tuned. Before you accept a job offer, find out if there are any conditions attached to this offer letter or any rules, regulations attached to this offer letter in that trust or hospital, apart from the normal tier 2 working visa conditions we know of. So I know that as part of the tier 2 visa conditions, you are allowed to work 20 hours extra aside your normal contracted hours. So normally it would either be like 37.5 hours a week or 40 hours a week, depending on where you're going. I had someone reaching out to me saying that she had an offer letter from a care home, and they stated that you are not allowed to work anywhere else aside the care home. If they find out that you are working anywhere else or doing extra shift anywhere else, they will report you to the authorities or something along that line. But I don't think any care home or any hospital would have to say that to any applicant or any nurse coming from overseas, because as part of the tier 2 visa rules, we are allowed to work 20 hours extra, and that 20 hours extra is not compulsory that you have to do it in your hospital. You can register with an agency and work anywhere else. So if you have an offer letter in which is stated that you have to work only in that place, then you need to consider signing that offer letter. Otherwise, you might get to that care home or that hospital and realize you might not even be happy at all, because if they've been able to say this even before you arrive, then you need to think twice, because there is nowhere stated on the UK government website that you have to work in that particular hospital until whenever. No, you are allowed to work 20 hours extra, and that 20 hours is not compulsory that it has to be done in that care home or in that hospital. So before you sign any offer letter, if there is anything like that stated, then I think you really have to read that carefully, reconsider signing that offer letter. So another important thing you need to find out as you read through the offer letter is if they've stated anything about accommodation. So obviously most hospitals know that you will come into a new country not knowing anybody. So obviously the most important thing is where you're going to stay, because once you arrive, you have to go through the OSCE training, do the exams, pass, get the PIN before you even start working as a band 5 nurse. So definitely most hospitals, what they do is they offer at least 1 to 3 months free accommodation, depending on each hospital is different. In my case, the hospital offered 3 months free accommodation. It was very, very nice. It was more like a guest house or like a hotel, because whenever we go for our OSCE training, we had cleaners who would come in, clean the kitchen, empty the bins, they would change the sheets. Oh, it was so nice. I really enjoyed living there. And unfortunately, we had to pack our bags and go after 3 months, but that was really great because at least we had that peace of mind knowing that we don't need to think about accommodation for the next 3 months, so that we'll have our peace of mind to study and pass the OSCE. So make sure you read through the offer letter and see if anything like that is stated, so that at least you can be sure of where you're going to stay initially whilst you go through your OSCE preparation. Most hospitals don't offer that. Most hospitals do offer just 1 month accommodation. So it depends on which hospital you're going to. So just read the offer letter just to be sure, because trying to get accommodation from overseas is quite difficult, because at least you would want to have a look at the apartment before you even go ahead and pay money. And even the rental process is like a different thing altogether. I'll do another video on how to rent apartments in the UK. So just make sure there is something ready for you whilst you come here to prepare for your OSCE, so that you don't come here and get stranded or start looking for accommodation when you arrive. So another thing to consider is whether the hospital has stated in the offer letter that they're going to refund your IELTS, the CBT, tuberculosis test. You know, definitely you have to write the IELTS exams. You need to write the CBT. Before you apply for the visa, you need to do tuberculosis test and all that. So before you accept the offer letter, find out if it's stated anywhere in the letter that you're going to refund all of this. In my case, let me always use myself as an example so that people will relate. So it was stated in my offer letter that whatever amount of money I spent on writing IELTS, CBT, tuberculosis test, they are going to refund it when I get here. They also stated in the offer letter that they will pay for the visa fee, health surcharge, and flight. So at least I was happy knowing that no matter how much I spend, I'm going to get it back when I start working here. So as you read the offer letter, you need to make sure that it is stated. If it is stated that you are going to refund, then you need to keep the receipt. What happened in my case, well, I forgot my tuberculosis receipt. I couldn't find it when I got here. So what happened was I had to email them back where I had my tuberculosis test, and luckily for me, they were able to resend a copy of the receipt by email. So I attached a copy of that together with the IELTS and the CBT receipts, and the hospital refunded it as part of my first month's salary. Most hospitals do that, so just find out if they are willing to pay for all that, and if they are going to pay, then just make sure you keep all the receipts so that you get all your money back. Also find out if it's stated that you're going to pay for the visa fee, the health surcharge, as well as the flight. So another important thing to consider is, probably one of the most important, is to find out if they've stated anywhere in the offer letter that you need to work for any number of years or months. So let me always use myself as an example. It makes it easier for me to explain. So in my offer letter, it was stated that you need to work for the hospital for at least 12 months, which is a year. If you are not able to work with them for that number of months, you'd have to pay for the cost of the 3-month free accommodation that was offered. You know, that free accommodation in the hotel that I enjoy so much, I would have had to pay back if I don't work for that number of months. So I did obviously work for even more than that number of months with that hospital. I'm no longer working in that hospital, but then before I left, I had worked even more than the number of months, so I didn't have any problem. So just make sure you read the offer letter carefully and just be sure if they've stated anything like that, so that once you are here, you know that you don't do anything that will go contrary to what you signed for. Most people have had to pay, or have been asked to pay a certain amount of money because they did not go by that. So I wouldn't want you to get here, realize that you don't really like the place, or for some reasons you have to move when you've already signed for an offer letter where you are supposed to work for 3 years. It's like you get stuck. So just ask yourself, even if they've stated that you have to work for 2 years, just ask yourself if you are really willing to stay in one place. Just ask yourself, if something happens and I'm not happy, am I willing to endure and stay up for that number of years or months? So just bear that in mind before you go ahead and sign an offer letter, so that you don't get here and then get stuck for some reasons. So the next point is in relation to what I've just mentioned, as in the number of years that will be stated. So normally, if it's stated that you have to work for this number of years, they might state again that if you are not able to work with them for this number of years, you would pay a certain amount. So I have a friend who had an offer in a care home that stated that if she's not able to work with them for that number of years stated in the offer letter, she would have to pay £4,000. Can you imagine £4,000? And I don't think you would want this to happen to you, because I mean, you get there and sometimes you may not be happy, sometimes you may not even be happy with the work anymore, sometimes you may decide to move from that place to a different area. So anything can happen which might change your mind or affect you in any way, so you might want to move. But if you are going to be asked to pay £4,000, just ask yourself, are you willing to pay £4,000 if for some reasons you need to move? So just be really, really careful as you read the offer letter. And if they've stated any number of months or years you have to work, is there a penalty attached if you are not able to work with them for that number of years? So we've come to the end of this video. I hope it's been very insightful. I hope you've learned something new, and I hope that it will guide you in your decision as to which offer letter to accept, because I believe some people have even had 2 or more offer letters. They don't really know which one to even accept or go in for. So I hope this will be a guide to help you so that you don't make any wrong decision. So if this video has been very, very useful, like it, share with others, and don't forget to subscribe. See you in my next video. Bye.